Hello, everyone. Today I will be reading from the magazine titled The Ladies' Home Journal, published September 1922. And the article I will be reading is called The False Gods of Fashion by Lady Astor. I wonder if we women really care as much about clothes as the ordinary newspaper and magazine make out. Since becoming a politician, I have found that the newspaper people, certainly in England, are apt to be a bit misleading about women's interests. There are, of course, thousands of women in the world who care only for the most foolish and footling things. But we all of us know men, too, who are only interested in stupid things and things of secondary importance. I'm afraid the picture we are sometimes shown of the noble race of men all thinking fine, big thoughts about fine, big things, and of the race of women wholly taken up with thinking about pretty dresses isn't altogether true to life. The ordinary woman is brought too much up against realities by her experience of marriage and motherhood and of homemaking to be satisfied with nothing but trivialities, and yet, when all is said and done, can we escape the charge that women as a whole are more concerned with the body than the mind, and that they do give more time to the furnishing of their outer than of their inner selves? Everyone wants to be nicely dressed. It is right that they should. Nice clothes are the expression of a nice mind. But when you get beyond wanting to be just nicely dressed, you are getting away from the right motive for pretty dresses. It isn't really at all nice to want to make anyone else feel uncomfortable. And that is all that happens when your object is merely to outshine or outdo. You simply want to cause envy and jealousy. You may say, no, we want to cause admiration. Admiration for what? Your character, or your clothes, or your figure? It must be one of those three things. But a truly fine character never thinks of being admired. Only an egoist does that. To have clothes admired as clothes is sheer vulgarity. To wish to attract attention to your figure is just the desire to attract the male sex through its most vulnerable point. Is that really worth doing? Don't we women have to pay for these methods in the long run? A deliberate appeal to that instinct is the basis of many profoundly unhappy marriages, because a marriage founded merely on that sort of attraction has never lasted. Ever since the world began, a really happy marriage must be based on something more lasting than physical attraction or attractiveness. It makes my heart ache to see some flappers with their pretty little faces painted and their poor little bodies in their tawdry finery flaunted like flags on the circus tent. I don't believe half of them know what they are doing and how they can know unless we tell them, and how can they understand unless we show them by our own example. I am full of hope that now women are responsible citizens, we can help to make this poor old world, yes, and the new world too, a little better. Will American girls forgive me if I preach to them? I have never found that people mind being preached to if you care enough about them. I should like to tell them just how I feel about the much discussed, never settled subject of women's clothes. We have all that is, who want a happier world. Got to take a little more thought about the kind of clothes we wear, and a little less thought about changing them so often. Do you realize that there is a regular conspiracy to make us women conform to every passing change of fashion? It is all part of the business of boosting trade. And do you realize who are exploited to help create these fashions? Unfortunately, women in Paris who, for all the elegance of the clothes they advertise in their youth at fashionable gatherings, may be living the saddest and most miserable lives in the world after their youth is past. I know what I'm writing about. I have seen and known them. We have simply got to make up our minds that dress shall not be for us what it has to be for them. Remember, our men folk don't like us better for taking our fashions from mannequins who are after all only animated display racks. I don't for one moment mean that we should be frumps or that we shouldn't have pretty clothes. But you don't find beauty by looking for it in extremes. You are more likely to find it in simplicity and harmony. I believe when we are a little more advanced, we shall look back with horror at our sheer stupidity and at the way we have been led on to wear new and absurd fashions at the bidding of our weaker and unhappier sisters. The editor of the Ladies' Home Journal has asked for three of my dresses to copy. They are very simple, and yet I never feel out of fashion in them, no matter where I wear them. One night I was at a dinner with Princess Mary in my black House of Commons dress, and I don't honestly think anyone misunderstood or thought it discourteous, because they knew I was going back afterwards to my seat in Parliament. Many of the 600 men in the House of Commons have told me that they like my plain dress and approve the sort of uniform I have imposed on myself. It is merely that I think suitability of dress is part of the art of dressing, and to my way of thinking, an elegant afternoon gown would be positively inartistic for a hard-working MP when she is at her job. The evening dress is from a French model, but I have added sleeves. I think fat arms are so ugly, and very thin ones too. Sleeveless dresses may be all right for perfect arms, but I have seldom seen a pair. The other dresses are quite ordinary. Anyone could no doubt find far nicer ones. I have seen prettier ones myself in the pages of the Ladies' Home Journal. I send the journal to several girls' schools in England, and they get as much pleasure out of it as I do in the days when I have the time for such helpful reading. I don't wish to give an impression that I think nice clothes are unimportant. It is really a case for a little more thought and a little less thoughtlessness. It is the point of view and the attitude of mind that matters. We need to cultivate our taste and our intelligence about clothes so that we may choose the right ones. But having chosen them, can't we get our minds off the eternal fussing and changing and contriving and set our energies to work on some of the thousands and one interesting and worthwhile things in the world? The more one looks into life, the more one finds waiting to be done. And as far as women are concerned, there is a real pioneer work as hard and as interesting as any that the pioneers of the American history had to face. I believe that our citizenship has come to us in this time of the world's greatest need to for a definite reason and for a definite purpose. Women have never failed to respond to a need, and they will not let civilization down now. And thought and strange though it may seem, I am sure that a right attitude about clothes is vital to our worth as citizens. Again, this was written by Lady Astor, titled The False Gods of Fashion, and published September in the year of 1922. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And you guys have a great night. And I will talk to you guys later.